Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video I will show you my African violets that are blooming now in July of 2020. They are growing on different shelves and I put them together on this shelf for this video. I will also give you an update of the bubble terrarium that I made last month for the African Violet Bubble Garden tutorial. Let's get started. On the far left is the ever-blooming Rob's Gundaroo. And I know I showed it to you previously, and I'm showing it to you again because I wanted to show you that it has been blooming non-stop. Rob's Gundaroo is a semi-miniature trailer with very pretty blue, lavender blue blooms. Very prolific bloomer. This is a young plant of Lyon's Black Magic. I grew it from a leaf that I received from Bloom Lovers in Canada, and it just started the first bloom. It's supposed to have some pink fantasy, but I see only faint traces of it, and given that it's the first bloom, I'm hoping that the fantasy will develop in the second blooming cycle. This is Rob's Cotton Ball. It's a semi-miniature variety by Ralph Robinson, and I like it for the very full white blooms that sometimes have blue centers, but this time it's just blooming all white. They are very pretty. This is the first bloom on Kentucky Gooseberries. It's a very young plant. This one is Anthoflores Little Axel. It has more white in the blooms during winter season in cooler growing temperatures, and now it's blooming almost all blue. Still very pretty. Next one is Jolly Sun Chaser by Hortense Pittman. I have quite a few of Jollies and they're all very beautiful. I like them all. They grow very nice rosettes and they bloom nicely too. Far back there is Wranglers High Sierras. This is a very young plant with the very first blooms, and I wanted to show them to you before I remove them to let it grow the rosette first, because it kind of grows leggy and I want it to grow the foliage first. But the blooms are very pretty. They have darker petals on top and lighter petals on the bottom, and then they have the edge around each petal. Next one is Sweet Affair. It's a standard variety with very pretty blooms. They are light pink with very frilled darker pink edge, and this is also the first bloom. This is Buckeye Seductress by Pat Hancock. This was one of the first plants that I received when I started growing African violets last year. I got it at Palos Verdes African Violet Show in March of 2019. And I have a video of that show if you guys want to check it out. This is where I got that blend. This is Lyon's Little Sweetheart by Sydney Serrano. It just starts blooming again. I like this variety because it grows nicely, and also it has very unusual leaves that are almost bold looking. Very little hairs on those leaves. So they look very shiny and glossy. This is Jolly Orchid by Heinz Sentimental. It blooms non-stop. Also, it's in constant bloom. And this is the first bloom on Jolly Cupid. I got it from the Tropical World nursery. It has beautiful variegation and very dark blue purple blooms. It's just starting the first blooming cycle. This is Sydney Serrano's Booman. I got it as a leaf from the Tropical World nursery and then grew a few plants. I like the foliage on this one. It's very strong, and the blooms are really nice. They're kind of white with lavender centers. Next to it is Pinki by Folkman. It's a vintage variety, and I got it from Violet Barn last year. It blooms very often as well. Next one is Optimara Little Maya by Holdcamp. These are first blooms. Red single pansies. They're dark red color. Then is Jolly Fireball, and I just made an individual review of it, and it just keeps blooming nicely. These are red double pansies and plain green pointed foliage. And then the last red in today's review is Heinz Sentimental. It's a standard variety with variegated leaves and very beautiful red blooms, semi-double and double. This is N-Neytiri. It's a Russian miniature variety by Berdnikova. These are bell-shaped blooms of white color. This is a registered sport of another Berdnikova's hybrid called N-Avatar with blue bells, and N-Neytiri has white bell-shaped blooms. This is also a bell-shaped variety. It's a miniature called Jolly Bells. It just started the first blooming cycle, and I wanted to show it to you how cute it is with tiny little white bells, and they have bluish centers. And it's a miniature by Heinz Sentimental. I also have a couple of baby plants that are blooming. This one is called Zolushkin son. It's a Russian hybrid that translates as Cinderella's dream. It has very beautiful blooms, white with a fuchsia mesh-like pattern. And I have another baby plant from the same leaf that bloomed almost all white, just with some fuchsia color pattern on top petals, and this one has the pattern throughout. It's a standard variety by the Russian hybridizer Daikun. Another baby that is now blooming is Peppermint Marshmallow. It's a standard hybrid by DEO-Martsipan at Lyon greenhouses. Look at how huge the first blooms are on this baby. I love this variety. Then next one is a sport of Geyser of Color, and the registered variety is a hybrid of Paul Serrano, and it's supposed to have pink blooms with some fantasy, and the piece of the true bloom can be seen on the left petal, and that's the color that it should be blooming all throughout. But this baby is a free spirit, and it's just blooming whichever way it likes in different colors. I thought it was interesting to see. This one is Ness Crinkle Blue, a favorite of many, by Ness. It's a semi-miniature variety with little blue roses, rose-like flowers. One of my favorites. This one is a miniature by Adams called Toronto Belle with variegated girl foliage. Far back is DEO-Martsipan by Olga Aksionkina. It's a Russian hybrid with beautiful marzipan rose-like flowers. They're really cream-colored roses. This one is a first bloom on Rob's Doodoo bird. Variegated miniature rosette and beautiful blue blooms with some white edge. Very pretty. This one is Hortense Pittman's Teen Bride. It just started blooming recently. It's a very young plant, and I got it from Bloom Lovers in Canada. I like the blooms on this variety. They're very delicate pink color, and this is the first bloom. Next one is a vintage variety called Lullaby, and it's probably the oldest variety that I currently have. It was hybridized in 1967. This is a very young plant that I had grown from a leaf that I received last year from a reputable eBay seller, and it's supposed to bloom double blooms of blue color, but right now I see mostly singles, and I attribute it to the first blooming cycle, and I hope I will see some double blooms in the second blooming cycle. This is a standard variety. And then far back is a standard trailer by Irene Fredette called Glitter Fountain. It has beautiful variegated rosette, and the blooms are pink with some fuchsia edge. And it has crown variegation that I really like because it has different colors of leaves in the center. And let's check on the bubble garden that I showed in one of my previous videos to check on the progress. I keep it covered with a plastic bowl in which I made some holes with a soldering iron to get some air access into it. But this plastic bowl keeps the humidity level just right because I've been checking on the plants and they seem to be pretty happy in there. And I haven't watered it yet since I made the tutorial. And it's been almost 4 weeks. Tomorrow will be 4 weeks. And you can see that the potting mix has remained moist. So all the plants are looking good. The fern looks good, and the succulent has started outgrowing the terrarium. So I gotta trim it a little bit to keep it inside. And then Rob's Twinkle Blue has recently started blooming. These are the first blooms, you guys. Check it out. It's so exciting. Very pretty blue bells. I love this variety. And Senk's Arctic Fox Sport is going to bloom soon too. Look at the flower buds over there. I'm excited to see it bloom. I've never seen this variety bloom yet. It's a very young plant. It's growing under the LED light that is 5000 K strong, or the color temperature is 5000 K, which is, I think it's a cool white or daylight. I gotta check the exact description. And it gets some of the natural light from the east facing window. And since we're here, I'm gonna show you a couple of baby nurseries as well. And they are also growing under the 5000 K LED light. And it looks like they're pretty happy in here. So I keep them in sterilite containers or plastic bins that have lids. And I keep them open during the day and I close them at night to give them some extra humidity at night. So they look pretty happy. And some of them even started to bloom. So these are all of my African violets that are blooming right now. And we are in July, and today is July 25th of 2020. I hope you enjoyed them. Thank you all so very much for watching and for visiting. Stay safe and be well. I hope I will see you again. And to stay tuned, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe